Hey guys, Miss Tracy here, and we are back on 76 doing a special kind of video today. So I'm just going to do a ton of tips and tricks here with you guys. I have a lot to cover, so I'm going to try to go through it as quick as possible. And I'll probably have to do another one of these videos too because there's so much I want to teach you. Building in this game is super broken, if you haven't figured that out already. There's a lot of glitches, and I'm going to teach you some tricks to work with the glitches and some tricks to use the glitches to your advantage to make things look really cool. So let's go ahead and get started. So one of the first ones here is involving turrets. Now, sometimes there's a glitch with turrets where when they get broken and you go to repair them, they vanish. And then you look and you can see that they're not in your stored inventory, but they're taking up your budget, but they're not actually there. So you can't put a new one down. And then you have this, what I call phantom budget, which is taken up by nothing. So I always put them on something. A rug will work. Anything that they are definitely on top of that you place. So like flowers or a workbench or a foundation, anything that you put down yourself, so that if it glitches, you can store the item that it's standing on, and then both things will finally appear in your stored inventory, and you can do what you want to with the turret. So if you have a pet for your camp, which by the way I have a video on because it's super complicated, you have to find them in very specific spots on the map, and even then not everything can be tamed. But anyway, if you do have a pet, a good tip to know in case you aren't sure about it is that they usually like to hang out by the camp box. Now, weirdly, this guy seems to want to stay over here sometimes, but he should be over here because this is where my camp box is. So actually it was on this truck and then I moved it because he was always up front here. But usually if you put the camp box down, see he's doing it right now, they'll kind of hang around wherever the camp box is. They might wander a little bit, but they'll usually come back, just so you guys know. And of course you can go ahead and pick that up while you're in the build menu and move it around, just so you know about that too. Okay, so this is a beginner tip. Basically, if you're having trouble placing things down, I usually use the triggers on Xbox. I'm sure it's the same for PlayStation, and I don't know what it is for the PC, but basically just turning the items until it turns green, and then you can place them. Now, also, you'll notice that like when I'm moving this around, some stuff moves. So sometimes I place little things like this confetti here from the Fashnacht event. You can still find the plans sometimes in people's machines, but right now you can't get this plan. But just little stuff like this, where you could go ahead and put it down. It doesn't show up quite so bright. Here, let me... Oh, see, now it says nothing is selected. So this is the kind of weird thing you got to work with. So I'm going to leave the build menu, go back to the build menu, and now it's going to let me place it, which is dumb. But it works. So, I mean, that's a little more noticeable on this orange ground, but just stuff like that. Or sometimes I put up like flamingos here, or a scarecrow, you know, just whatever, so that you can move stuff, and then once you place that down, that stuff shouldn't spawn in. Sometimes it glitches and it'll still spawn around it, and you just have to move the guy and then it'll fix again. Now maybe I'll do a video on just some wiring stuff, but I don't even know like how to use the conduits and anything like that, but I do know how to use switches, and they're really handy for things like the decon shower. First off, I was asked by a sub to mention this. If you guys are putting up decon showers in your camp, it's really best to not put them up somewhere people have to walk through them to get to your camp / your vending machines. I know you seem like you're helping people, but a lot of people do that bloodied build where they have to have a ton of radiation and they hate being forced to walk through rad showers. But anyway, you can put a switch on this guy here, and you'll see what I did was I wired the switch to the electrical, and then I wired the decon shower to the switch, and then now this will work. If I can highlight it. And I can turn it off when it's not in use. A quick trick on how to tell how much budget something takes up is to take it and store it. So I'm going to go ahead and store this guy. And then if you look there on the top right corner of the screen, it actually shows just a little sliver of gray. And that shows how much budget that thing I just took and stored takes up. So I'm going to put that back down. Ta-da! And there's no more stored budget. Oh, I have another warning for you guys. So I call this the Blowy Uppy statue. It's the Iron Hero of the Wasteland statue. It was available in the Atomic Shop for a limited time, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's not still there. But anyway, this guy is glitched. Let's see if I can move it here. But sometimes... There, see it says one or more related items are in use. I cannot move this. So you can do the same thing that you do with the turret, and you can put it on a foundation, or the only way to get it to move when it's stuck like this is to move your entire camp. So I wish I would have put it down on foundation. It's stuck there, but I will eventually be moving this camp, so that won't matter anyway. I think Jug originally figured out the next trick I'm going to show you, and that's about replacing walls. So there's different types of walls. There's the windows, the doorways, and then the regular walls. Well, you can't put things on windows. Let me show you. Like if I want to place this here, it kind of like angle it through there, but it goes through the window. You know, it just doesn't quite work. So what you can do, and you can do this for a lot of different tricks too, is go up to it on Xbox, you hit X, like you're going to store it or scrap it, and then there's an option to replace it. So I'm going to hit Y to replace, and now I can turn it into a regular wall for now, put up the item I want to put up, and then turn it back into the door. Oop, not door frame. Window. Ta-da! So this also works with door frames, which is cool because then you can put stuff in, like, let's see. Let me just do it with the flowers. So you can put stuff in the door frame. And I think I have to move this door to do this, so hold on. Now I'm going to replace it with a wall. Oops. And now that's actually stuck in the wall, and it'll show up on the other side too. I wonder if you can see it. Kind of peeking out through the front. So I've seen people put like the piping from the stove on the outside to look like it was some kind of plumbing. I've seen people put the jukebox in the wall so that you can see it in this room and in the room on the other side, that kind of thing. So a lot of different things you can do with this trick. So here's just a little superficial one for you. So if you have the cooking stove, even if it's just the regular version, you can put stuff in the pot here. So like I sold this one from Black Apocalypse. He actually put the porridge in there. He called it porridge, boiling over. But you can put other things, like, let me show you. Like I've seen people put these little plushies in there. Like that. Or like plants. Like that. So just a neat little thing. While we're looking at lights, let me talk to you about the posters. So these posters with the lights built into them, first off, they don't need to be plugged in. They just need a power outlet near them, one of those little conductors right there that's plugged into something, and then they'll work just fine. And these don't take up your light budget because you only get 50 lights, but these are like, I call them free lights because they have light, but they don't take up your light limit, just so you guys know. And those letters over there do take up your limit, which kind of stinks. Next, I'm going to show you a little trick that Lord Valderon actually taught me. Now, as you can see, I have a light in my vending machine here, colored lights. So once they're in the machine, you can't really highlight them at all. So you have to store the machine to get rid of them. But what you do to get them in there in the first place is you would take a light, and I hung it up from this roof here. Come on. Okay, apparently it's doing that stupid thing. So I'm going to back out, come back in. Ta-da. Okay. Now the cycling lights have to be plugged in. So you plug it into the vending machine you want the light in. So I'm just going to do this one for now. Oh, see? Okay, see this little thing where I'm jumping instead of putting the wire down? First off, this drives me insane. Second off, you can fix it by doing the whole going in and out of the menu thing. So let's try it again. Oops. Okay, so I'll try connecting it from that side. Okay. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cycle the light by getting out of the menu and going up and cycling the color until you get the color you want. Now, don't mash the button. You have to go really slowly. Just kind of hit once, wait a second, wait for it to change, hit it again, or you might fast go through your color that you're trying to pick. So let's just say I wanted orange. I go back into my build menu, take the light, and I would just kind of put it in there until it turns green, and then hit A, and I don't want to actually do that because I don't want to store another color in there. But then you can see you have the colored light bulb inside your machine. While we're looking at roof stuff here, checking out these right here. This is the regular roof. Anything that's in this section takes up a lot more budget than, say, a floor. So if possible, like I couldn't do it here because I don't have any stairs, but if it's possible, use a floor instead of your roof. You could save a lot of budget. I plan on doing a video on different things you can do with the vending machines, but let me just leave you with one little tip. Now, this isn't for building. This is just kind of an overall tip to not be a jerk. When you put up your vending machines, try to put them somewhere where if your camp despawns, the person won't fall to their death. Like mine, they would just fall to the ground right here. But if I put my vending machines like out on the edge and then I leave the game and someone's still shopping my machines, they'd fall down to the bottom down there. So try not to do that when you are building. Oh, another note about that trick I was showing you earlier with the walls is I do this with doorways here, where I have the doorway and then I put the wire up there like that, and then I switch it back to a wall, and then this way the wire goes through the wall and you have a wire connector right here. So I have a lot of people who ask me where you get the plans for resource extractors, but you don't actually need plans for those. So let's say you have something like this on your area. Mine's actually just out of the range of my camp. But if you have this, when you go to your resources section, so that's aluminum. Hang on, let me go in my camp area. Oh, I forgot to do fall damage reduction on this guy. Okay, you go over to resources, and this is here because this is always here. But underneath would be an extractor, and that is automatically there if you have a spot that you can use an extractor at in your camp. They're really handy because you get lots of materials from them, but they do take up a lot of budget. Okay, so I'm going to show you a trick that SOB taught me. I know he's not the first one to figure it out, but I'm not sure who was. So anyway, it's a trick on putting railings in corners. So let me place this out. First, I have a foundation and stairs here, and I'm going to put some half floors up like this. And then now you can go over here. As long as you don't have walls up yet, you can place this little pedestal here. I don't think it's going to let me snap another one there because the foundation's there. But once I move these, and I could have put one on the other side too, but I'm just showing you this real quick. You can put your wall there. Ta-da! And now you have like a little border on your wall. Those do take up a bit of budget though, just so you know. But I think they look nice. They add a little extra touch there. Okay, I've changed all this around. I'm going to show you another trick. So let's say we have a regular floor here. This regular floor takes up a regular amount of budget. However, if I can get up there, this floor takes up more budget when you put it down. I don't know why the see-through floors take up more budget. So if you're like at max budget and you want to put down one floor and you only have room for one floor, but you want it to be a grate, you can put down a floor and then replace it as a grate, and it'll only take up the amount of floor budget, just so you guys know. And that might be changed. I mean, who knows? Some of this stuff might not work. It might be changed. They're changing stuff all the time. So hopefully that still works for you guys. I keep talking about things that take up a lot of budget, but I'm not really listing them all for you. So let me go through a couple things that do take up more than regular. So these greenhouses, if you got those, do take up quite a bit. Turrets take up quite a bit. I mentioned the roof thing before. Now, there's that resource thingy with the cow. Now, when you put this down, a Brahmin will spawn, and you can repair it if he gets killed by filling it with razor grain and fertilizer, but this takes up a ton of budget for some reason. They even said they made it less, but it doesn't seem to be that much less. Posters also take up a strange amount of budget, and another big budget eater are crops. So, like, I only have gourds because the other crops just take up so much room. So walls are kind of boring sometimes, but you can spruce them up, add a little more extra color, and take up a little extra budget if you don't mind by doing things with half walls. So like I've seen people do this and then like a half wall window, and that's a different kind of wall, or even putting up walls like this so you can have two different color walls. A little bit of a break up there. See, like that, just for a little extra color and change. And then, of course, it would look different on the outside. Now, these are probably bad color combinations, but you can do it with different wood and stuff. Basically, just different ways to design stuff. These are kind of a pain in the butt, because when you scrap them, you have to actually scrap the one above it first, not from the top. And they do take up a little bit more budget, but you can do different designs with using the half walls like that. It looks pretty cool. Now, you can't put floors directly on walls like this, which drives me completely crazy. But if you put up a stairwell... can put up the floor if I can get it to snap. What's going on, game? Sometimes getting stuff to snap is just a nightmare. Hold on. Maybe it won't let me do that with the wall there. Hold on. Okay, let me do that though. And then let's me put the wall back. See, this game is so weird. I don't think I can take down the stairwell though. See, it'll say some of the places indestructible. So you'd have to have the stairs up somewhere in order to put that up there. Let me try to show you one other thing here. So let's say I want to build my house, but I want the brick to be on the inside and I want this to be white. So I can't really maneuver it around. It doesn't want to place that way. But if I take another floor foundation, depending on what you're working with, snap it onto the front, then I can take this wall, flip it like that. I use the trigger to flip it around, by the way. Flip until it goes like that. And then you should be able to take away this foundation and the wall will stay just like that. There you go. Now you have inside out walls. All right, I'm going to run to my other character and show you a couple more things in my other camp. Okay, I'm interjecting this randomly in here. I know this is totally out of place, but I had to add this clip because I forgot one of the most important things to tell you guys about, and that's the Contractor perk. It's under intelligence, and I'm not sure when it unlocks, like what level you have to be, but I recommend getting it really quickly because if you have it up to rank 2, workshop items now cost 50% fewer materials, which is so awesome, especially when you're building big stuff like the fusion generator or the decon shower. Otherwise, I just wanted to cut in here real quick. Sorry about this, and we'll go back to the regular video. One other big trick I have for you guys, this is actually like the most handy one, and I'll probably go over it in every video I make like this. It's about rugs. So rugs can be used in a lot of circumstances where you can't place things down. So I couldn't place down this workbench in this globe because like it didn't want to, like you can see it's trying to go up on the top. It didn't want to go up against the wall. But I put down a rug first and then I put down the armor workbench over it. Same with the weapons workbench. And anytime I'm building in an area that's already pre-built, I can usually get stuff to glitch in by putting it on rugs. Like I think some of these bookshelves down here are actually placed on rugs. And so is my brewing station. Oh. Okay, thank you, Mirelurk. I use rugs in like a million different things to work around Bethesda's little bug issues. They are super handy. It's hard to tell here during the day, but this light, this construction light on the outside of this globe lights this entire globe up so bright, it's just crazy, and it's only got the one light on it. Otherwise, the last little thing I'm going to show you here is how I lined up stairs here, because the foundations, like you can't really put the stairs on this side of the foundations and have them connect down that low. It's really tricky. So what I did was I put up a floor here, and then I lined up a foundation right next to the floor, like perfectly as much as I could, just right here. And then I snapped another foundation over it, and then you can kind of see the floor there, but it almost looks like it's just attached to the foundation there. I did that because the greenhouses were super hard to place, but I could kind of get them to line up a bit when I put them on foundation, so it turned out a little better than I was expecting. Otherwise, that's all I have for you guys for this episode. It's already super duper long, and I had a lot of tips I needed to cover. I do have some more, but I think I'm going to have to make another video like this, so please post in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions, or you know of any tips you think I should share, or anything you want shared. And just your opinion on these tips in general. I'd like to hear from you guys. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it when you do. And we'll see you guys next time.